Hey Dreamers, I'm Bryce, a musician and a fan of music, and I don't know what my favorite Metallica song is. Could it be Eye of the Beholder? Let's find out using math. Cue the intro.
So Ted, give it to me now!
For the best Metallica song! Eye of the Beholder, track number 3 off of And Justice for All, the 4th record. We have so many more to go, but I have to say that this is one of those songs that I usually skip. That said, we're coming into this with fresh ears. I'm not grading it based off of my past opinions. I'm grading it off of the following categories. We have lyrics, instrumentation, composition, memorability, and emotional response. It's a 0 to 4 scale for each category, totaling a grand possible points of 20, and we'll see at the end whether or not it makes it to the top 10 list. I have my doubts, but we'll find out. So, without further ado, I need you to hit that subscribe button so you can be here for more videos just like this and cover songs and original content. That way you can see why I'm doing this. I don't know. Just come along with me on the journey. Let's get into the song. Eye of the Beholder. Let's go. We have a fade in. Now, you know, as much as I'm going to stop it here, it's barely even begun, but I think this is why this album doesn't sit as well for me. We have a fade in with the intro with blackened. We have those back reversed guitars, really cool. We have this acoustic soft intro for And Justice for All. Now we have this riff fading in. There's a lot of slow entries, and then the next song is One, which again is a slow guitar. Like they're if you make all of the songs builds, I mean, each individual one might have a cool build to it, but as an album, I need that flow. I'm not getting really hit with anything. All the songs are kind of starting in a similar way, and I think that's why by the time I get to this song, I'm kind of like, well, I've got a feel for the record. I don't need any more. And that's a bad thing to say before getting to One, because we all know what One does, right? So being track 3, I wish this would just start like just hit us hard with the intro, right? That's what they're gonna do live. So just give us the intro. Can you imagine how much more impact that would have? Just get right into the song. I don't know. Complaint that I got. It's a cool riff though. It's just E. If it was in drop D, this would be a great Godsmack song. If you know, you know. I like that offbeat on. Yep, okay. So I can't hear very well because of the way this record is mixed. Sometimes the floor tom doesn't really cut through as well, so you can't tell if he's just doing kick, 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 snare, or if he's doing a roll. Is he following the guitar part, or is he just doing kicks and then occasionally adding a snare? Or is he doing the floor tom with the kicks? Boom, boom, pa, boom, 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 pa, boom. Either way, this riff is a really headbangy riff. And having those snare hits on the 1, 2, 3, on the 3 like that, it kind of makes the riff feel slower. We're not doing a... This feels like it's supposed to be a march, right? And by having it on the 3, we're kind of giving it a halftime feel. It doesn't feel like a march anymore. Even though that kick drum's still going, even though the rhythm guitar is still going, it doesn't have that march feel anymore. It's getting knocked some points here because I want this riff to carry me through. I want energy. It's the 3rd song from the record. Give me some energy. Even though obviously the first 2 songs had plenty of energy. I'm just saying, play on the 2 and 4. I do like the harmony, changing the riff. Now we got the 2-4. And the riff has changed too. It's not the same. It's a different pattern. So it's still just chugging on the E. This is very Godsmacky of them. I mean, obviously this is well before Godsmack, but Godsmack has a tendency to just play the low string in different patterns, and they've milked that for so many songs. Don't get me wrong, I love Godsmack, and actually they were the opener for the first time I saw Metallica live. So it's a band I do enjoy. I'm doing this as a fan. I'm ripping them as a fan. Let's continue. Now we get to change. I like that the snare and the cymbal hit are happening when we're chugging. It's like the cymbal hit is the call and the guitars is the response. It's cool. I like that. Let that stop. James's vocals here are going through some sort of processing. I think it's I don't know if it's a chorus or a flanger. Again, I'm not the best with effects, but it's got some sort of a processing over it. It's not just like a megaphone effect or something. It's kind of got a wave to it. I don't know if you can hear it as well, but it's some sort of flanger chorus on it. It's a different effect. They don't usually do that in their songs. They don't goof with his voice very often. So I guess you could give them points for it, but to me, the song, because of that halftime feel, I don't know. I guess we're straight now. We're going straight. It's kind of dragging for me. I can hear the floor tom there. It's more there. So I don't think it was in the intro. I think it just comes in here. But I want more of that floor tom. I think that would really beef up the song a lot. That would just make it would give a weight to it that this doesn't, it feels blank, empty to me. It feels just like one string and a simple drum beat, and there's not a whole lot there for me to grab onto. I'm already kind of turned off of the song. We got double kick pedal. That's cool. Now we got a different feel. It's kind of a... I don't think that's a straight change to 6/8. It's got that. It's got a shuffle feel to it. It's got that triplet feel to it, but it's still 4/4. And I can't say that for sure, but that's what it feels like to me. Because I don't know. I guess I'd have to look at it, but it feels to me like a 4/4 shuffle rather than a straight 6/8. You could write it either way. They kind of feel in the same vein, but to me that sounds more like a 4/4 shuffle. You let me know in the comments if you know the structure of the song, if you know with confidence whether this should be a 6/8 or a shuffle. Let me know. But I feel like this is just a shuffle. It just kind of has a swing to it. Again, it's a change, and I've been saying this whole time that I like changes. I like when songs mix it up, but this change doesn't feel right for the song. If the core of the song is that main riff, that to me is a march. This song is calling for a march. It's calling for fist bumping, head banging, straight 4 to the floor, boom, ka, boom, ka, boom, ka. And I guess we get that, but the hi-hats are on the triple, but that it just kind of sways in a different way. And I guess, I don't know, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. As far as this beholder is going, there's not a lot of beauty here. It just feels wrong to me. It feels off. It doesn't feel... They've set the bar so high. We've gone through 28 other songs, and I just don't feel like this meets the quality of everything that's come before it. This, to me, already just feels like a skippable track. I'm sorry. I know there's plenty of people out there that love it. And you know what? I would be happy to hear it live because it would be a fresh new song that I haven't heard from their other concerts. But it just isn't doing it for me. See, I like what they're trying to say in the song. I like the words. I like the way this chorus goes. There's a really interesting thing, and we'll talk about it again maybe, probably forget. But and the next chorus, listen to it. When they're doing the freedom is words, that whenever they say that freedom, right, the rhythm guitar, I think James's guitar is sticking to that. I already forgot the riff. Let's go back. Let's listen to it one more time. Do 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 do. He's playing this do 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 do, and then the lead guitar is do do. It's like doing a strummed out thing. We'll go back. I want you to listen to it. You can hear like an addition. You can actually hear an added guitar. It doesn't sound like the same guitar playing a new part. It sounds like an additional guitar. Listen for it. And then it goes away. I have to go back maybe just a little bit more, but let's try it one more time. So it sounds to me what they're doing is this. The rhythm guitar. And there might be one going. But then when they get to the freedom, there's one that's just emphasizing. And then holding out. It kind of holds its note out longer than the rest of them. And it sounds like an additional guitar. It's a cool thing. I like layering guitars. I like adding parts. We have a very simple riff on the bottom. So this is emphasizing both the lyrics, the vocals, but it's also layering the guitars. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. We'll give them points for that. But I don't know that that's enough to raise the rest of the song. That riff is really cool. Oh, okay. I like that they didn't do the stop here. I kind of miss it though. I don't know. I like that it's changed. I like that I was expecting it and they threw me off. Always a fan of pattern changes, but I kind of like that part too. I'll give it to him. This time I'll give it to him. Back to that chorus and voice plan. Ooh, that was a fast fill for Lars. He doesn't typically. That was a little fast. Yeah, there's some good drumming. One of you commented on the last video. This is some of his best drumming. This record is probably peak Lars drumming. So I think I agree with that. This is some good stuff. There again, I'm wishing for a different beat for that main riff, but so far he is doing something new and fresh from the other records. So points for that. Double kick again. Switch up. That transition right there, that It was like, it feels to me like they're like, I don't know, how do we get from this part of the song to the next one? I don't know. It feels weird. It doesn't feel like a good transition to me. I feel like if it's done just how I say, and then I don't know, like a pause and then just go into the next part. But I think it doesn't work because you have this sort of you have this triplet feel, and then you're going from straight to triplet to straight to triplet, and the transition is wonky. It doesn't feel right. You want to have some sort of a pause or a break or a stop or a tempo change or something, but it just doesn't flow right. It just does. It doesn't work for me. I'm sorry. It's just kind of wonky. I do really like how the chorus riff it's got that street beat, but then for the freedom part, when we're adding that extra guitar, the drums are also going into halftime. So we got the boom da da boom da da boom da 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 halftime dun, dun, and then straight again. I like that back and forth. So that's a really cool thing. And we get some double kicks in there too. When we go to the halftime, it's there's some cool stuff going on. It's just a shame that it feels like it's a lot of cool ideas. I know that when Metallica writes songs, at least now, I don't know if this is the case back then, but they have a tendency to be on the road all the time. So they're in the tuning room, they're recording stuff as they're just jamming, and then they're putting it in tapes and they're marking it down, and they have a long list of like riffs. Okay, riff 1, riff 2, riff 2, bring up riff 5. And I know that, so a lot of times when they're writing their songs, they're kind of just Frankensteining all their riffs that they've recorded and then seeing how they fit together. And this song feels like one of those songs, right? Sometimes songs just flow out. It just, you know that this part goes to that part, and it builds upon itself. I think Enter Sandman is an excellent example of one riff being stretched out into a 5-some minute song. So this song feels like 20 different riffs, and they're like, let's just throw them all together and see what we got, because they just don't feel like they fit together. We got a marching intro, we got a triplet swing feel, and then we've got this chorus, which is pretty, I guess that matches with the march, but they're all just, and then this, it's a fine riff. It just doesn't fit with the rest of the song. I'm asking you, as a songwriter myself, when you're writing a song, think of how the song feels, right? What are you trying to, I don't know. Maybe they were trying to illustrate the disconnect. Maybe that's intentional. I don't know. I can't speak to what they were thinking. I can only speak to what I'm hearing. And what I'm hearing is kind of meh. Riff change. It's a little higher instead of the ba-na-na-na, it's ba-na-na-na, right? It's a little bit higher. They're changing it. Now we're going into new section. You got a little bit of a chord change. There was a time signature change in there. Let's catch that. Going back just slightly. Yeah, that's 1-5-4. Right in the middle of that riff. They got 4-4 all the way through and one little 5 in there. Nice work. You thought you could trick me, but I got you. So just 4. Oh, was that another 5? I like this harmonized solo. This brings it up. That transition didn't really do it for me. It feels again like a Frankensteining. I know I can hear that the rhythm riffs are in different chords. So transitioning from one chord to the other is kind of difficult for them in this song, and so they're just deciding to transition with the and it was nice to have a straight build, just a da 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 da. Usually with the builds like that, Lars has a tendency to da 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 do, like add something more, but to just go straight. But again, the transition is just wonky to me. It doesn't feel earned. It feels like we had this really cool dual harmony guitar solo. I would have liked to just come out of that and go straight into the next verse. But we're adding onto it with a weird transition. And now we're at to another solo, which it just doesn't feel earned to me. It doesn't feel like they really built the song in a way that like I want to hear another. I'm looking at how much time is left in the song. I don't really want to listen to it anymore. I want to skip it. Do you guys want to skip it? Because I want to skip it. I'm sorry. Just not a fan. Really cool note. Great solo. There's what I was talking about. That place, I think it was warranted for that fill. But it looks like we're back into another verse, so let's get it over with. Does anyone else hear this song and immediately start thinking of Christmas music? Do you hear what I like? I feel like every time I hear that song, I think of Metallica. They're kind of interchangeable. Obviously, this one is a little bit more of a headbanger, but that one, admittedly, is sketchier to me. It's an earworm. This one just kind of get over with. Doesn't matter what you see or doing what you read. My friend, we're friends. I appreciate that the chorus is always freedom. Now I can't even remember the words, but it no longer frees you at this last chorus. We're changing it up. Freedom with their exception. That's what it is. Freedom with their exception. And now it's freedom no longer frees you. Touche, my brothers. Touche indeed. Oh. Or doing what you read. You can do it your own way. If it's done just how I say. So I have to say that was more effective there when they did the punch, stop, one hit, bomb. If you do just how I say, that was actually cooler than probably the rest of the song. I liked the dueling harmony guitar solo, but that little, I wonder what the song would be like if that whole chorus was like that. You know, do 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 do, bum 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 bum, bum. Bah, like you just hold it and let the vocal have its part, because right now all the instruments are they're all playing piano. They're all going as much as they can, and it's kind of just, and I don't know, it's not for me. Oh boy, let's get to those numbers. Woo! Eye of the Beholder. What is this song about? I think this is very clearly about any sort of government that is controlling the freedom of spree. The freedom of spree. Why can't I say that word? The freedom of speech of the people, the freedom of the press, the freedom to just exist without oppression, right? Any sort of dictatorship is going to attack the media first and say, no, we're going to control what the people hear, and you're going to hear whatever I want you to hear. Do you hear what I hear? Right? And then the people are going to, because they have no other news to turn to, going to just believe the only thing they're fed, or they're going to go, wait a second, this doesn't feel right, and lead to some sort of uprising. That's why we have dictators rising and falling, right? So any sort of oppressive person or government or corrupt sort of corporation that is forcing its people to take only what the top people are giving them. That's what this song is about. I think lyrically there's a lot of cool things being said here. I agree with a lot of them. I think that freedom is a very important thing. As an American, I believe in freedom of speech. That is our First Amendment, and it is a right on all people that all people should have access to. It's the reason I'm able to have these videos and comment on these songs. I appreciate that freedom. Being taken away from me, I think I would be terrified. I was really terrified with our our leaving government, the way that they were demonizing the media because they weren't letting us have our say. They were saying we could only believe what they were saying, and that's very, very not safe. So I hope you all are with me on that. And I guess if you're not, I'm sorry, but that is just how reality works. We're not going to get into politics on this channel. We're just going to say that the lyrics of this song are pretty good. The reason I have to pull them down, I want to give them a lot of points for this, but I do want to pull them down for this main reason. Their verses are in groupings of 4, and we have 3 verses, and I think that the last verse is only in a grouping of 2. But even still, we have a do you see what I see? Do you hear what I hear? Do you feel what I feel? We can sense later in the song that he's starting to run out of do you blank what I blank. And he's sort of kind of, I got to fill it in. And I feel like if the verses were in groupings of 2, we could get what is needed to be said in a more efficient way. And also the song wouldn't drag as long. We would get to the chorus sooner. And if we just cut out that whole dancey middle part, that little shuffle beat piece, we could get to the chorus. I think the main hook, the freedom at their exception, is really potent, but because it takes so long to get there and there's all these extra words in the middle, I'm going to bring it down. I do like them though, so it's not in the negative range. It's just safely in the middle. Lyrically, this one gets a 2. Instrumentation. I want to say in every Metallica song that they're doing fine, they're doing great, they're playing their instruments well. I can't say that in this song. Why? Because this is a band. There are 4 members of this band, and it feels like, as far as this track is concerned, they were all just playing their own thing. Obviously, they're playing together. The beat is on the same rhythm as the guitars. But what I'm saying is that it doesn't feel like they're meshing well as a band. This feels like, hey, we've got a new bassist and we're going to haze him. And this song is just them all arguing. No, I'm going to play this part. Well, I'm going to play this part. It doesn't feel like a unit to me. And that's really a shame because some of their previous stuff up to this point has been really solid. That whole Master of Puppets record felt like they were finally coming to. And then we have this break here. This song just doesn't do it for me. Instrumentally, because they're all arguing, it doesn't stand out to me. You know what? I got to give it a 0. Composition. Again, this is kind of on the same note as the last one instrumentally, but composition, every single piece doesn't feel like it's fitting. It feels like a lot of different songs thrown into a casserole, and it doesn't taste very good. It is a lot of each individual riff, really cool. A lot of cool stuff in there. I love that they're doing tempo change, or not really tempo changes, but feel changes, right? They're going from that straight riff to a swing riff to a little extra 5/4 in there in the dueling solo. I think that's cool, but it isn't enough. You have to have solid transitions to keep my attention. When you throw in that little you lost me. It sounds like you're making stuff up on the fly. It feels like you made a mistake there to me. And to be honest, that doesn't make for a good composition. I don't feel like this song has the tender, loving care it needs to be a real masterpiece. So unfortunately, compositionally, that's a 0. Memorability. Is the song memorable? not really. I don't. Maybe it's not memorable because I skip it. I think there are some memorable parts. I think that the da na 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 da-na-na-na, that's catchy. And I think that the do you blank what I blank is a cool formula. And that's a formula that you can use to get people to remember things. But because it changes every single time, I can't actually remember anything but do you blank what I blank, right? It doesn't, like, I don't remember the words, I just remember the formula. And that's not what you want from your audience. You want them to remember the words. So if it was always, do you hear what I hear? Do you see what I see? And then the second verse, do you hear what I hear? Do you see what I see? That would, I think, stick better. And then the chorus has some really cool, potent stuff. I think freedom. I know that that's said a lot in the song, but I can never remember what comes after that. And so it just doesn't stick the same. So it kind of does, but it really honestly doesn't. I'll give them 1 point for the interest, for the attempt. 1 point. Emotional response. You know what? Halfway through the song, not even halfway, maybe a quarter of the way through, I was already hoping that the song was done. I don't like it. I'm sorry. I know that I'm sure there's people out there that like this. If you're one of the fans of Eye of the Beholder, I want you to tell me all about why you love this song. And I genuinely say that because I am curious to know what drives you towards the song. For me, it just doesn't do it. After I've heard 28 other songs that are awesome, awesome pieces of artwork, this one just falls short for me. It feels flat. The mix doesn't hold up well. There's no bass, obviously. The lyrics don't grab me in the way that the other songs do. And the instruments are just fighting each other. Emotional response, this one is one of the worst. That's a 0. And so Eye of the Beholder gets a whopping 3 points, which means it is in dead last. Absolutely the bottom of the pile, 29 out of 29. Let's take a look at our leaderboard. We still have Master of Puppets in first place with 19 points. And of course, Injustice for All is in 10th place. There's a lot of great songs on this top 10 list. I love all of them. I wish that I was listening to any of these instead of what we had. But there it is so far. You're going to need 15 points to get up there. Unfortunately, 3 is a long ways from that. You know, I'm sorry for the negativity, although I have to be honest. I'm a musician, I'm a songwriter, and I'm a fan of the band. I appreciate the contributions they've had to the world. And as you know, we've been doing this. This is the 29th episode of this journey. You know I have lots of positivity in me. This song just doesn't cut it for me. If it cuts it for you, I want you to know. Put it in the comments below. Use my grading system and tell me what points you would give this song. And of course, check out my music, Midnight Notion, anywhere you get your music, Spotify, iTunes, wherever. And of course, hit that subscribe button. Tune in tomorrow. We're going to bring this frown upside down where we visit One. Oh, finally, the masterpiece of One. I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.